Things have really changed over the last year. Andrew Schulz was bigging up Trump. You know, he's the guy who gets pussy. He's the one who's going to drain the swamp and make America great again. But now he has platformed Zohran Mamdani, and I'm glad Zohran has gone on the show because you need to get your message out there. They've got a big audience, and it's clear Zoran's going to win next month. But any other exposure is good exposure, in my opinion. So let's go over the video because it's insane how these podcast bros just completely flip when the tides turn, the vibes change, and there's energy in a different direction. So let's get straight into the video because it's really interesting.
You've done, like, I want to give you, like, a few compliments here. But they're also, like, very validating because I think, you know, every week I'm talking to Charlemagne and we're talking with the boys here on the pods, and it's like, we keep on saying, hey, Democrats, can you please just run for something and not against somebody?
Yep.
And it is a very simple solution, but I think people at their core want to feel like their issues are addressed, you know, and their concerns are met. Not simply that guy bad.
Yeah.
And then you guys have done it masterfully, obviously.
I just don't buy into this because that's what Trump does. Immigrant bad, woke bad, enemy within. No, people like an enemy. They do. That's what the left need to learn. It's the billionaire class. We need to mobilize energy against the real enemy. We're afraid of that. Oh, no, we don't want to be divisive. No, we have to go after the billionaires and energize people. That's it. It's really that simple. And Zoran is doing that. Cost of living. Who's going to pay? The wealthy. Free childcare. Rent freezes. The billionaire need to pay their fair share. That's the story we need to go with. And it's effective. It's working with Zack and it's working with Zoran.
You're a great talent and your team is phenomenal. Zara, I know you're listening. You're great. You're great. You're great. Give us a little more time. You're great. You're great. But it was like, it was really validating to see that.
Yeah.
Imagine being paid to laugh at someone who's not funny. I hope I never get successful because I don't want to be in this position where I have to pay people to like me. That probably won't happen, and I'm glad about that.
You know, it's like, wow, if you talk about the issues people care about and say that you're going to do something about it, they will support you. What a fucking crazy idea.
You know, it's also crazy. The things that I would say you inspire, change and hope. The last great Democrat, those were kind of his mantras, or however you'd say it. Change and hope, and that's what you inspire.
Was that Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's been lost a little bit.
I mean, I appreciate you guys. I think it's just, there's been a lot of lecturing and not much listening. And, you know, we saw a swing towards Trump here in New York City in the last general election.
Whose responsibility was that? Who the hell made that? What the fuck are we even talking about?
Dude, those guys.
Yeah.
I can't believe they did this.
I mean, you can joke about it, but you are complicit in the ICE raids, the deficit spending, people who are losing jobs. The job market is not looking good. Yeah, I'm sure it's very funny. Yeah, laugh about it. People's livelihoods, farmers. Okay, great.
But you know, it was. There are a lot of caricatures of who Trump voters are, and in New York City, we saw the swing was actually in the heart of immigrant New York. And I went to Hillside Avenue in Queens. I went to Fordham Road in the Bronx, and I asked New Yorkers, "Who did you vote for and why?" And I met the vast majority of them were Trump voters. And I asked them why, and it just came back to cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And if I had spent that time lecturing them as to why they were wrong, as opposed to listening to them as to how we could get right, then we would run a very different campaign.
And this is one thing I said I wanted to talk about. I feel like the establishment Democrats don't understand a pretty simple thing. We want to vote for someone who might make things better. Even if the risk is it will make things worse. A lot of people voted for Trump because he might make things better, and the other person is saying, I wouldn't change anything.
I don't agree with that. I think it's just the energy. Trump has energy. He has aura. He makes people laugh. It's that simple. Zoran is charismatic. Zack is charismatic. It's that simple. Story, an enemy, and a goal. What's the goal? Cost of living. It's that simple. America great again. Who's the enemy? The wokies, the liberals, the communist, socialist, fascist demons. That's what we need. We need to learn the lessons of the populist right. And we are, finally.
Not good. In New York, things are not good right now.
It's the most
other guy,
expensive city
to
in
me, is
America.
just saying it's the same, and you're saying it could get better.
It's a privilege to maintain the status quo. You know what I mean? Like if it, like we're privileged, like it's very nice to know that we're going to be okay. Listen, delete this.
I just hit the join DSA link. No, you know we can't afford more of the same.
So here's the thing. Like it's so funny because I saw it was like Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk. And they were talking about you. I don't know if you remember this.
I didn't see this.
But they were speaking, and it was almost like this shoehorn theory. Have you ever seen that, like politically, what happened?
Horseshoe.
Oh, sorry, horseshoe. Yeah. So it's like, and I think that they were basically saying that you were meeting the moment in terms of what people are concerned with, right? And it's obviously a cost of living, and it's like, I think it's so specific. I think it's like it's rent, and I think everything is derivative of rent.
Yeah,
and
it's the number one issue in the city.
The number,
housing.
Bro. I started looking up numbers because, like, I think a 2-bedroom 6 years ago was the average 2-bedroom compared to right now. I think has gone up 90%.
I mean, it's untenable, right? Like, and I think this is the thing that
90%, almost doubled in 6 years.
That's great.
How are people supposed to keep up with this? And I think what's so kind of to what you guys were saying, if the politics on offer is right now is as good as it's ever going to.
And it's the same in the UK. A third of people spend, most people spend a third of their income on rent. Young people can't get in the property market. This is what Zack is focusing on too. You need to focus on the cost of living. It's a winner because young people in particular, what hope do they have for the future? And people are feeling hope for the first time. It's that simple.
That's not good enough for the vast majority of people.
And I think it speaks to how out of touch a lot of them are.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I spoke to a nurse who after she finishes her shift, she drives for an hour and a half, leaving the state of New York to get to where she can afford a place.
Wow.
That's what you're putting working people through. People are living in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Jersey City, commuting it.
Dude, white people have to live in the outer boroughs. We need to fix this. What the hell's going on here?
This is what happens when you call him a socialist. You got to overdo it.
It's just like, I'm going after Astoria. I'm going after Inside Bay. Come on.
The Greeks are not white. No, but continue, please. Yeah. It is absurd that in order to afford her life, and there are obviously certain like circumstances that have created this situation. What I want to talk about more is because I looked at your plan to go fix it, and I would really like this to be able to happen. A lot of people are making this like impending war about you and Trump. I think it's going to be you and Albany, bro. Can you speak a little bit more on that? Like what you need Albany to essentially allow you to do?
Yeah.
There are restrictions in government. Like there are systems in place that don't allow you to do what you want, even if you think it's in the best interest of people, and even if that's what the people want. So how are you going to convince Hochul? How are you going to convince these people to allow you to enact these policies?
So New York City continues to be a creature of the state. New York City, if you have an ambition for the city that matches the scale of the crisis, you have to have an Albany agenda.
Yeah.
So when de Blasio wanted to deliver universal pre-K, he knew he would have to go to Albany to get that money. He actually overcame the objections of then Governor Andrew Cuomo to get that money to make this a reality. Now it is one of the best examples of government actually meeting the needs of working people. And so when we talk about raising revenue, raising taxes on the top 1% by 2%, the top corporate tax to match that of New Jersey, that's something we will do in Albany. And that's partially why the endorsements of Governor
Hochul. You almost said it. You almost said it.
I'll never be taking that one.
You almost said it.
Governor Hochul.
He's posting that on Instagram immediately.
You see the trauma is coming back. having to deal with that man so much. Governor Hochul, Assembly Speaker Carl Haystree, Majority Leader of the state Senate Andrea Stewart-Cousins. These are endorsements not just of me, but of the agenda. Because in Albany, it's often spoken about as 3 men in a room. Now it's 2 women and a man who are in that room. And to have the endorsements of all of them,
huge.
It's huge, and it paves the way.
I also think
for,
it's
for this agenda.
Like your political momentum,
right? Thank you.
No. And I mean that. I don't even mean it as a compliment. I mean like.
I take that back.
It's like a guy once told me, America doesn't have allies; it has interests.
That's why Zohran is doing really well. Jeffries and Schumer haven't endorsed him, obviously, because he challenges their milquetoast liberalism. But he's really playing a blinder because he knows he's pragmatic. He knows what he can and what he can't do. I assume he's way more extreme in his socialism, but he's thinking, okay, what can I deliver? What can I actually deliver? And I think this is what Zack's learning. Like, what can I actually deliver? Like, taxes on the wealth, a wealth tax, focusing on funding the NHS and cost of living. These are really popular ideas. So that's what people want. And you have the opposition towards immigration. Trump has not lowered grocery prices. Farage can't do this either. He's not going to, build more houses. He's not going to tax the wealthy. He's not going to bring infrastructure and jobs to the UK. He's just going to continue the decline of the UK. So you have two options here.
And I think that politicians are often that way. I can't speak about you, but like Hochul needs re-election and she's going to, it's next year, right? I imagine she is thinking, okay, if I raise taxes like you would want, I might lose some of my constituents. But she's also probably thinking, if this guy is such a tsunami and if I rebuke him, I could also lose people. So is your strategy to have so much support in a Trump-esque version? Like, he's the only other example I can see that has like found a way to completely transform his party. Is your strategy get so much support that Hochul's political future is dependent on her connectivity to you?
My strategy is to build the political will such that Governor Hochul has a partner in delivering universal child care.
Good man. He's a politician.
Because look. Governor Hochul has spoken.
Bend the knee.
Governor Hochul has said she wants to deliver universal child care. What she's had in the mayor we have right now is someone more focused on getting out of jail than actually funding these kinds of
Or
programs.
partying, we're going to bring 11 to New York. That is a fire idea. You shouldn't even know what that is.
I didn't know what it was until you posted the clip, and I was like,
And now you're like, let him run against
That's all you need to know. You can still bring it though.
That's still on the table, bro. Okay. You were saying.
So I think it's what are you using your political capital for? Because the same people who will say, oh, we can't afford free buses. We can't afford $700 million a year in making the slowest buses in America fast and free.
I don't agree with that. I think you can. Like, no. Like, but here's the thing. Like,
Can I put that on the website?
You can put whatever you want.
yeah.
Like, I also think this idea that like New Yorkers are going to flee because of a 2% increase. It's like, I've been everywhere else. You're not going anywhere. Bill Ackman's not going nowhere. He's going to be in the Hamptons all
There's
fucking
only
summer.
one place to write those tweets.
That's it.
New York City.
Exactly.
Every character you want.
AC goes out in July in Miami. You sweating writing tweets? There's
He's
no way.
spending more money against me than I would even tax him. Every day it's like $1 million. It's like $1 million. I'm like, I don't even want that. You're going above and beyond.
Okay,
That's a
but
boss.
so I don't think anybody's moving, and I honestly feel that way. And like I'm in the tax bracket.
They're not. And this is such a weird change of tune. But it just shows you these people have no values. They'll just go where the weather takes them. And we need to mobilize that. People are like that. Same with reform. Reform voters. Where's the energy? Where's, Nigel, he's the good guy. He can come in and make decisions that Labour can't do. Like, Labour can't fix it, but somehow magically Nigel Farage can come in, and because he's, really cool, no, he will not. There are deep systemic paradigmatic changes that need to happen with the economy. And that often is really taxing the wealthy. They don't pay their fair share. That's the main thing. A good tax base creates a fairer society. It really does.
Okay, we're going to tax more. Like, dude, if you're going to deliver all this shit for 2%, give it. I'm 100% supportive if it makes life easier for New Yorkers. This is my one identity in my entire life is a New Yorker. It's the thing I care the most about. But what I will say is that I think that there are going to be people in government that are going to try to restrict you from doing that. And I know that you're aware of that. So I'm like, how... And there are people that might disagree on economic policy. We can have like a philosophical discussion about like what economic policy works, but I don't even know I think that's like a waste of time. What the fuck do you do when special interest groups are going to be lobbying like crazy. They're going to say, I want to build 200,000 units. And then the second you try, they're going to be like, well, not in my neighborhood, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, you have
How
to.
do you do that?
You have to be ready to take on these fights. You cannot be
He's
naive
taking
to
on
the
it right
fact.
now. Special interest groups are.
But I mean, it's I appreciate the point, because there is a reason why we haven't had progress, right? If you look, for example, at the Department of Education, this is the agency we spend the most amount of money on in any agency in New York City.
Yep.
Of the $40 billion we spend about $10 billion on contracts and consultants.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of people who are looking forward to the renewal of their contract.
No, it's to educate you nerds at Bronx Science. Some of us dumb kids that went to regular public school, we don't need all that money.
Look,
Where'd you go to high school?
Baruch College campus.
what was your mascot?
The Blue Devils.
All right.
Yeah. Which
It's
we
actually
just chose.
a white devil. Isn't that funny? Who are you? Habibi, let's talk about that.
Segue.
Segue. Get us back to Hochul. Get us back to Hochul.
No, but here's my point. There are people making money off the status quo. And so there will be a lot of interest in retaining that status quo.
Yeah.
Right now, the city of New York will pay McKinsey a few $1 million to design a trash can. McKinsey's not going to be happy when I say we don't need you to design that anymore.
Right,
we can
right.
actually design that ourselves. Point though is that people in Harlem were promised a subway to 125th Street on the 2nd Avenue decades ago.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
it's taken us so long
Crazy.
to even get to this.
Why didn't we start with them?
We had to connect it.
What is it? Well, you could connect it the other way too. We could have started it up there.
But where are they going to take it from 125th to 160? That's as long as a 2-avenue 160.
Yeah, I'm actually here to announce that the head of design at the MTA is about to be stand right here.
Thank you. I would have done that too. Now you're making some good decisions.
Yeah.
All right. I'm taking back my 2% if I'm gonna work for it though. No. I hear what you're saying. You got to connect it to 51st Street.
But and I think the larger point here is though that like when they did the first phase of construction for the 2nd Avenue subway,
Yeah.
the MTA spent more money on consultants than construction.
Yeah.
So this is part of the issue, is that you're right that we're going to have to transform the inner workings of government.
Yeah.
And that means ending a patronage politics. There are a lot of people who have jobs more to do with who they know than what they do.
Yeah. No,
And that's not specific to Eric Adams.
And
It sounds like you want to create a Department of Government Efficiency. Kind of sounds like.
Honestly,
Kind of sounds like.
You're
Because when
dozing.
I said I was in favor of it, this liberal cuck, when it was a Republican idea, hated it. And now I'm in favor. Now look at him nodding like
Donnie,
a
we are
farmer.
not going to judge people who like to watch others have sex with their wives. That is their. That's it.
I bring it back to efficiency.
Okay, sorry,
and I
sorry,
bring it
sorry.
back to waste.
Some people say that's efficient and waste.
You can wait for Andrew Cuomo to have these other conversations. Bring it back.
Okay, go.
But here's my point: is that it is sad that we've let someone like Elon Musk take the words efficiency, fraud,
God, yeah.
as if they are right-wing concerns.
I agree.
These are actually the concerns that should be at the heart of a progressive politics.
Yes.
Because I want to increase taxes on the top 1% by 2%. And I also want those same New Yorkers to be able to look at that increased revenue and say every single one of these dollars is being spent efficiently.
Yeah.
It can't be in and of itself the reason why you do it. It has to be what you deliver with that money.
I think like Doge was universally supported before it became what it was. But the idea,
Well, it was never actually intended to fulfill the intentions.
Got it.
But the
Fair.
intentions.
the intentions are right.
Of
I think
eliminating
most people
fraud and
agree.
waste.
Let's
Yeah, and that was obvious from the start. Elon Musk isn't interested in efficiency. He's just interested in siphoning off money for him and his companies. Not interested in efficiency. Why would he? Like, the money goes to the top. Like, public spending, tax revenue can just go out to the wealthy. That's what they want. And we've seen an increase in deficit in the spending. Doge has not saved any money. It's increased it. And that was obvious from the beginning. But that's the thing. The left need to actually genuinely go, yes, we can save a lot of money, billions of pounds on consultants, on firms that just are there just to make money. The middlemen who don't, like HS2. There was problems, many issues along the way. But that's what we need to tackle in the UK. And again, Zack is focusing on clear messages. This gets in the weeds a little bit, and it's a longer conversation for later. But yeah, we need to make our own Doge. This is really important, but a real Doge that actually cuts real waste, and real inefficiency. So I'm going to end there because it's so interesting how just so much can change in a year. Trump is deeply unpopular. He's not making America great again. He's making it worse. He's authoritarian. He's cracking down on free speech. He's cracking down on protests. He wants National Guard. He wants maybe to invoke the Insurrection Act, which is just basically giving the military powers to arrest people. Why would he want to do that? Well, that remains open to interpretation. He doesn't care about freedom of speech, people's right to the First Amendment, and people are realizing that. I think people are realizing, oh yeah, maybe Trump isn't the guy he says he is. Maybe look at his actions, not what he says. So tell me your thoughts below. Are the winds changing? Are people realizing that actually maybe we need a more compassionate, empathy-based politics? Maybe empathy isn't the problem, it's the billionaires. So hit the like button, subscribe, join my membership from 99 pence a month. If you can, join the Green Party because we need your support now more than ever. See you in the next video.